Hey people, so I got a question that it's kind of hard to answer, but I will do my best here. Um, I got a question on, I still have other, things like I have to do some fire play, some stuff on knife play, a couple other things. But this one, it's going to be kind of interesting to try to go through it. Um, the question um, is about BDSM and mental health. And can it be used as a form of informational therapy? Okay. Okay. The answer is I don't know. What it comes down to is the individual. For some people with mental issues, people who have um, things like anxiety, depression, things like that, BDSM can be useful. Depends on the person. This is the issue with it, and there's no way to quantify it. There's no way to test this. The closest is something I'm going to be talking about in a future video about mindfulness, about being in the moment. That's one thing that BDSM can do that almost nothing else can do is by its nature we are forced to live in the moment. We are forced to live in that second. And the thing is that at that point you get sometimes a moment of clarity that you cannot get anywhere else. Um, I mean, I'll retract that slightly and saying, yeah, there might be other methods, but this is probably the most direct method. Um, when you're in the middle of play, your mind has to be focused on that task 100%. You're not worried about what's going on in the universe around you. You are just in that moment, in that second. You have to be. Now, with somebody with a mental disability or or a mental issue, um, this might be a way to help clear their mind and be able to exist without worrying about all of these other things. I have met many people. The vast majority of the people in this lifestyle are mentally stable. Okay, this just bears out by study. The vast majority of the people in the lifestyle are mentally stable, but the percentage of people who have issues with anxiety or depression or uh, bipolar or whatever, they exist. They exist in this basically the same levels they do in real society. And I have dealt with people who have those issues, and usually um, they are on medication to help them, but it is something that you have to understand, even on medication, may still rear up. At that moment, your job, whether you are the dominant or the submissive, is to understand it and work with it using the frame of BDSM. This is difficult, incredibly difficult, because you have to be able to maintain who you are and what you are, but understanding that this person is not 100% the person you are with because of whatever is going on. You have to be able to work with it, and that is incredibly frustrating but incredibly rewarding at the same time. um, I don't want to talk about examples of my life. I've had some really good experiences with this stuff. I've had some really horrible experiences with this stuff. um, the thing is that what you have to be able to do, and you have to keep in mind, I don't care if you're the top or the bottom, it's your number one job, is always, 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 always the well being of that person. Period. Whether you are their master or mistress and they're having these issues, you have to be able to use what you already have and be able to help them. Same thing if you are a submissive and they have these issues. You have to be able to recognize them. Now, With that being said, there are breaking points. This is this is something that can wind up happening more with people with mental issues than it would be with people without. Because when we do this because we enjoy it and it's fun. And after a while, if it just becomes draining, it's like every time you hang out or every morning you wake up, it's right there in your face. It's gonna just get old after a while. They have to be willing to help themselves. If if it's a once in a while thing, fine. The reality is we all have our own issues. We all have days where we're depressed. We all have our own manic episodes. I've made a couple videos that way, and I don't have manic depression. I am not bipolar. I'm not any of those things. I'm a very I would like to say very stable person mentally. But there'll be people who disagree with me because of the toys I have on my wall and the things I've said. But the reality is, no, I'm very, 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 very stable. But the reality is that when you have somebody with this kind of issue, you need to be able to understand them for who they are and what they are doing, and not judge them on that. You have to be able to handle the moment, move forward, and not blame them or use that against them. That was something that just happened. If they are doing the things properly, getting medication, seeking therapy, all of the other little aspects that are going to help them organize and stabilize this, then there's no reason to not be with them. Thing about it is that if they are in this lifestyle and they are doing therapy, one of the things I absolutely recommend is they find a kink friendly therapist. Somebody who will be able to talk to them about what's going on in their lives, including their kinks, including your relationship, in an open and honest manner without judging it. Because the thing about it is that sometimes you get therapists who automatically don't think if they're in a vanilla relationship, automatically that then shows that something else is wrong. We've been trying to um, fight against the consensual sadomasochism and say consensual master slave out of the Big Book of Mental Disorders for years. We have been trying to fight it. They've modified it, but they haven't removed it. And I think that's an issue. I think it should be removed because non-consensual absolutely could definitely fit. Consensual, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Thing about it is that if you're going to add kink into your relationship and you're going to add BDSM into your relationship, you have to understand it comes with a whole package of things that society's not a fan of, and then you throw a mental issue on top of that. It's just you know it's ridiculously how hard it could be, but it could be incredibly rewarding simultaneously. Keep in mind, we also have people in this lifestyle who are disabled. We don't hold that against them. We use that as just a thing that exists in their lives. Treat this the same way. Treat it as if what is going on is just part of who they are, and be able to understand it and work with it. Some people don't want to do that, and I understand it, and I don't hold any grudge against you. If you don't want to be with somebody that has a mental issue, then that's your choice. That's perfectly fine. Okay? For somebody like me, it's not a problem for me. Okay? I understand it, and as long as the person I am with is willing to do all of the things that need to be done to be able to help them as much as they can, that's all that matters. So, I don't know, for some reason I'm talking really fast. But yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be it. I still, like I said, if you want more on this, I'm going to be doing another video on mindfulness and that study that came out recently. So yeah, that should be interesting. So that'll be it for now. Be well and safe.